Hey, you guys. All right, today I want to talk about objections. I know that you have a lot of questions on your mind. And so what I did was I made a list of some of the questions that I have either heard from you in the group, or I've had questions directed to me individually. And also I want to touch on a couple of things that I felt before going into this. I think we all are hesitant before we jump into something, as you should be, because this is something that can literally change the course of your life. Why wouldn't you want to think about all the scenarios, right? So I'm excited to do this call today. I'm excited to make this video because I love to squash a lot of these objections because number one, I've been there, I've had them, but I've also been in the business for almost 3 years now. And so I feel like I have some information to provide you that might ease your mind and put you in the right direction, whatever you choose to do. Okay, so the first objection that I'm getting, this is probably one of the biggest ones, is I don't want to be an icky salesperson. Guess what? Neither do I. And that was one of my fears. When I first signed up as a coach, I thought, well, I don't want to run my friends and family off. I don't want to be one of those coaches that is posting pictures of Shakeology all the time and posting my link and pictures of Shaun T and Tony Horton. And I don't want to lose friends in this. I want to find a way to make this my career and my job without losing friendships and without being that annoying person, right? And guess what? There is absolutely a way to do that. Because I'm not a salesperson. I am not specially trained in sales. I was a realtor before this, but that has nothing to do with like sales per se. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I'm not a used car salesperson. And I never wanted to be because my desire was to help people and to grow a successful business by truly helping people, not by making the sale. So you've heard this in previous videos, but anyone that leads in this business with the straight intent to only make money, they're not going to get very far. I'm going to be honest. If someone approaches this business with the salesperson mind, it's not going to go very far because there's not going to be a lot of trust. So I want you to think about, have you ever been in a situation, maybe you were buying a car, or maybe you were in a some sort of retail store where the people get commission and you knew that whoever you worked with was going to be benefiting from that. Think about that kind of situation and think about the person that you dealt with that made you feel comfortable, that did not want to sell you something that you didn't need just so they could benefit from it. It's called trust, right? So if you're in a store or you're shopping for a car and you say, I want this, this, and this, or these are my goals, this is what I'd like to achieve, much like we do with our challengers, and someone directs you to the most expensive package, although it doesn't really, or the most expensive car, and it doesn't really fit your goals when you say you're looking for a sporty SUV and then they try to get you into a sports car, you're like, I don't feel so good about this. It's because they're not listening. And that's one of the biggest things that we do in this job as a coach is simply listen to people. I always make time with every single person I work with, all of my challengers and my coaches too, to be honest with you. And we talk about goals. All right, where do you want to go from here? How can I help you best get there? And then your job as a coach is to help them find that path that's going to lead them to where they want to go and help them accomplish those goals. And I highly encourage my team all the time. And if you join into our team, you'll understand this. I highly encourage, it almost maybe annoyingly so, to my team to not post on Facebook or Instagram a link to your website because that just screams icky. That screams, I want to sell you something. I don't care who you are. I want you to buy something from me. And that's the exact opposite of how I want to be perceived and how I would like my team to be perceived because we are a brand and it just is not that good feeling. So I do not recommend high pressure sales. I do not recommend pushiness. I recommend leading with the heart and sharing your journey. And that's really how I started out. I did not post like, hey, I'm doing this and I want you to join me. It was like, hey, here's my journey. This is what I'm doing. I would share my meals. I would share my fitness journey. I would share my struggles. And then along the way, that builds trust with people. That builds a reputation with people. They know that I'm taking care of myself. And when they decide that they want to do that for themselves, they know they can join right along next to me. And I'm not going to be pushing product on them because I didn't start out that way. So it's really in how you approach it. And if you come from the scenario of share versus sell, you really can't go wrong. Okay? All right. Objection number 2, not knowing if it's going to work. I get that, but let me just say, that's what momentum and dedication is for. So if you are tiptoeing into this business and you have the mindset of, well, we'll see if it works, it's probably not going to work. I'm going to be straight up and honest with you about that, because this is a job that takes daily consistency, not 4 days a week, not 2 days a week, but daily consistency. It doesn't mean you have to work on this business for 8 hours a day, and we'll get to that part of the business. But it takes that daily consistency and passion, number one, passion, to run this business and to make it income generating and successful. So if you go into it with, this is going to happen, this is going to work, and I'm going to make this a business, then there's no problem. It all starts with your mindset on how you want to approach this, because it's every day that you make small steps that eventually build up. It's all the momentum, right? So it's like a snowball. So it's, you add a couple coaches here, you add another coach here, you add another coach there, you hit your goals for the month, and then you hit your goals for the next month. And it's just those small baby steps each month, just like you saw in the compensation plan. You have 2 customers 1 month, the next month you have 4 customers, the next month you have 6 customers. So it doesn't have to be so overwhelming in the fact that you've got to be at your goal income or goal situation in this business a month from where you started. But if you come into it saying, I'm going to take this one day at a time. I believe in this. I believe in myself. I understand why I'm doing this, which is another huge factor in this. Then it will grow. As long as you have that patience, the consistency, and the mindset of, this is not a, let's see what happens. Let's see, I'm going to make this happen, right? Going back to understanding your why. I'll admit, I have my days too where I just kind of struggle, all right? I think we all do, no matter what kind of job you're in. It's not that I don't appreciate my job or love my job, but there's some days where maybe I'm just not feeling it, right? Maybe I just don't want to work out some days. Maybe I don't want to return emails, because we're human and we have life that happens and we have distractions. But when I have those moments, I have to think about my why in this. And when you sign up on this team, you'll hear this a lot. It's that one major reason that continues to push you despite the obstacles, right? Despite any failures you may have, despite the daily challenges you're going to face and the frustrations, because it's going to happen. That's what it means to be an entrepreneur and to have your own business, is to push forward through those things. But understanding your bottom line reason for doing this is going to be that major driving force in you pushing forward. So for me, I've told you from the very beginning, I wanted to be home with my kids. And although that they're in first grade now, I love that I have the freedom to go volunteer at their school, or I can go have lunch with them, or I can go have lunch with my husband, or I can literally pick up and we can just go on a trip. Of course, it has to work with my husband's schedule. But if I want to go and spend a week with my parents, which is something that I do because I've got a dad who's, very ill, I can do that. And I don't have anything holding me back. If I want to, take a nap in the middle of the afternoon like I did yesterday because I'm fighting a cold, then I will. And although those might seem like small reasons, it's a peace of mind thing that I have. So when my children are sick, I don't have to call a babysitter. I don't have to call in sick. I don't have to miss any pay. I can stay home with my babies. I can take care of them. And I don't have to worry about the stress of missing any work or anything that goes along with that, right? So we all have our why. And when I have those hard days, and you'll find this too, that when you have those hard days, you have to hang on to that one why, because building up this business is very simple. It's not always easy, but it's very simple. It's simple to do the things that you need to do to consistently build your business, but it's also very easy not to do those things, right? So, okay. Objection number 3, I'm not at my ideal weight. That's okay. I touched on this before. It's actually better if you're not. And that may sound kind of strange, but this is why. People want to relate to you. People want to see that you're going through this journey on your own. People want to watch you so they know that they can trust you, right? I see a lot of coaches that will come into this business and maybe they are already at their goal weight. Maybe they are in really, really good shape, but maybe they're not very consistent. But then I see a coach that is not at their ideal weight, but they are very passionate about improving themselves. And they're very passionate about bringing people along this journey with them and creating this financial future and this freedom and sharing this with other people and paying forward what they've learned in their own lives. And those are the people that succeed, are the people that are on their journey, not the ones that have already reached their journey. So I feel pretty comfortable with where I am body-wise, but I'm always pushing myself to improve myself. I don't think there's ever really a point where someone is absolutely perfect, right? But people want to know that they can relate to you. So if you feel like, hey, I'm at the very beginning of my journey, I don't know if it's the right time, it's absolutely the perfect time. Because think about all those people that you would miss from where you are now to, say, if you waited a month or 2 or 3 months or 6 months, all those people that could have shared in that journey with you, you would have missed out on doing this with them, right? And missed out on helping them in their journey. Because like I said before, this is a come with me journey, not a, hey, look at me, I'm perfect journey, and I'm going to tell you what to do as a coach, right? So I hope that alleviates any of that, that concern, because you absolutely do not need to be in tip-top shape to be a coach, okay? Number 4, I don't have time for this. Where do I find the balance? And this is a big thing that I hear from people. And I get that. And there's a couple of things that I want to mention. First of all, when I first started this business, I was a real estate agent. I was in a partnership with some folks in another city, and we were starting our own branch here. I had 4-year-old twins at home, and I also hold a volunteer athletic director position with my veterans nonprofit. So when I started this business, although my heart was screaming, yes, 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 this is the right direction, my husband was saying, whoa, 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 what the heck do you think you're doing? Because he knew I was already so busy. But for me, I know when my heart says yes, I can't ignore it. I'm kind of that emotional action person. If I feel it, I'm going to do it. And I found that my reason for doing this, from what I just told you guys before about creating more of that financial freedom, being able to pay off our debt, be home with my kids, get us into our dream home that we're in the works of doing right now. All of that was all at the forefront of my mind, despite what was going on, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? It's just up to us and how we choose to spend those 24 hours. So for me, and if you're thinking about, your future, you got to think, what kind of sacrifices can I make in order to do this? Because that is going to be a reality. Maybe you don't stay up and watch 2 hours of TV at night, right? Maybe you get up 30 minutes early. Maybe you work on your lunch break. Like I said before, you don't have to work on this business 8 hours a day. That's not what this is about. When I first started, I want to say I probably put about an hour to an hour and a half a day, but it wasn't like I just sat down. Keep in mind, I had 4-year-old twins at home, and I was very much a part of their day. And so it would be maybe if they took a nap, or I would get up a little bit earlier, or after they went to bed, I would check some messages, I would do a post. And it's about just having that time management. Because for me, I knew where I wanted to go. And I knew that I had to find those slots of time throughout my day, despite what was going on, in order to reach my goal. Because my goal was to quit real estate. Although it was a lucrative job, there was no balance whatsoever. I did not like being on someone else's schedule. It made me someone I didn't want to be. And I wanted to be in a position where I felt like I felt more rewarded, that I was giving back more, that I had the opportunity to truly do what I was passionate about. And that was to help other people and to make a successful business out of that. And so it doesn't take a lot of time per day. It takes focus, and it takes dedication, and it takes consistency. And once you sign up on this team, you'll have all those tools and all those guidelines in order to do that. We actually have documents and schedules and trainings that you dive right into so you know exactly what to do every single day in order to do your business. And it could literally be an hour a day. All right. So I hope that helps a little bit too with the balance. We all have busy lives, but it depends on where you want to see yourself a year from now. Okay. All right, you guys, if you have any more objections, I welcome them. I love to talk about these things. So please post below if you have any questions whatsoever. All right, you guys, thanks.